Hello guys, it's me again now. So what we're going to do today is to show you a short video on the DNS. So basically this is DNS on Ubuntu. So the Ubuntu version would be 22.04 and I'm going to show you a few bits and pieces basically. And the key things I'd like to show you how to update, how to upgrade some packages, download the an Ubuntu daemon, which is bind 9, download the Ubuntu utilities, and then we run the configuration. We see the files that are involved in this case. After we do this, in this case, what we're going to do is we will test it. This is the structure. Once you download bind 9, which is the DNS daemon, if you like, what will happen, it will install a folder that's called bind. So under the ACT or etc. folder, there will be 3 main files, as you can see. You define the reference for the forward lookup zone and the reverse lookup zone in 2 different files. There will be some other files involved as well. We're going to show you that. So let's go and let's enjoy this day. So now we make an assumption that you have downloaded the Ubuntu server or desktop, because this can also run on both. You install it on ESXi, and we're going to look at that now. We're going to remotely connect to that server specific one. Now we're going to SSH from our client machine, and that's the IP address of the server. Obviously, your server will you will have your own IP address. Sudo update. So we're going to look at any package or packages that need to be updated. Now that will list all packages that need to be updated. Once that is done, what we need to do is to upgrade. Basically, it says 4 packages here, and we're going to run the upgrade in this case with a Y key, which means install. So that's all done, sorted out. Now we would like to install the DNS package, which is bind 9. So that's the bind, that's the DNS basically, daemon if you like. Once we do this, it is also recommended to install utility, DNS utility. So we're going to install the DNS utility. This is, we do a few things like testing DNS functionality and so on and so forth. Now you have had your own domain. So you have your own domain. You would like to configure your domain later on. So here, just to show you to change the host name, I would like to change the host name in this case from this long name into a small simple name. There's another way to do it. So set host name control. You can use also the set host name utility, and you can use the host name control just to display the host name in a JSON format and so on. So the host name in this case is simply speaking AD1. Now we're going to start the process of the DNS installation. Now we're going to go to the etc. bind, and you see the list of files that have been installed due to the fact we installed bind 9. So bind 9 is the daemon for the DNS. So now we're going to edit a few files and make a few changes. This is the config, or the common config file, if you like, to show you what options we have. 3 different file references in this case. What we are going to do, first of all, we will go for the options, and here you define your ISP, i.e. your main DNS servers basically. So this means that this DNS server, if they don't have the record local, they will forward the query to these different servers. So of course, what you're going to see in here might be different than what you have in your own environment. So I'm just adding these 2 servers into the list of cached, because it's called cache value, or the cache DNS. One public, one private, and don't forget to uncomment the other bracket, save the file, and exit. So now we have added the forwarders, our ISP. Next, we would like to restart the DNS service, which is the bind service. Restart bind 9. You can double check also the status of the bind 9. So system control status bind 9. And it looks like everything is working fine. There's no issue in here whatsoever. And probably we can move forward. Now we would like to edit another file, which is basically the local config file. And in here you define your zone, and you define your reverse lookup zone. So forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone in this case. You might have multiple zones if you, of course, I'm just showing you a simple setup here. Now, our zone name is class.local, and this is master. as you can see, the type is master, and it points to a different file where some settings are located. We're going to go and copy the database.127.local into database.class.local. Now, class.local is our domain name, basically. So in your case would be a different name, probably. So class.local is our domain name. And the reason we copied the local database file is to make it easy. So give us kind of the skeleton, if you like, and we can make changes. So now we edit the class.local file. This is our file. And this is going to make changes. Now here we will define what is the start of authority, SOA. Obviously the comment, you can change the comment if you would like to. So we change the comment into the class.local. It means this is our domain name. Again, if your domain is different, you're going to change that domain to your own domain. So here I'm changing the class.local, and also I'm changing the root to class.local to again reflect our domain name. Your domain will be similar or different. Every time you make change, you need to increment the serial number in this case. So serial number 2, you can use a date, any format basically, but it's just a number. Now here you can see the NS, which is the name service. We're going to change it to our server name, so AD1 in this case, .class.local. And the A record here, we're going to change it from 127.0.0.1 into the IP address of our server, 10.254.1.21. And that is, now we're going to enter or add a record, an A record to that server. So if somebody bings the name of the server, that should be translated into the IP address of that server. In this case, the name of that server is AD1. So AD1, and we will not talk much about the IPv6, which is the AA server. So now we have edited this file. We're going to just save the file after we edit. Then we will move out from this file. Once we've done that, then we will restart the service. So we're going to system control here, and we're going to restart the bind 9 service. And we're going to look at the status of that service, system control, status, bind 9. That's straightforward. Everything should work if there's no syntax errors in the file, basically. So we can clearly see that everything has worked with no problem whatsoever. Now what we're going to do, we're going to edit another file, which is basically the conf file, another configuration file. So this is the local file, which is the one that we have previously edited. The reason we do this now, we will insert the reverse lookup zone. So we will add the reverse lookup zone, as you could see in the file, and we will restart the service, and you can see the service is working fine, no problem whatsoever. Now we copied the 127 to db10. That file db10 has been referenced inside the other file, which is the name.conf options here. So in the name.conf options, we refer to this db10. The name this is what you name it. Basically, db10 is what you have named it as db10. So here again, comment, you can just change the comment to whatever you like. This is again a pointer, and a pointer to the actual domain where the DNS is responsible to translate to. So here our domain is class.local. So we're going to add the domain and the file, the server name AD1, the start of authority, and then we will do the same or something similar to the root, class.local. Don't forget the dot at the end, and again remember the serial number has to change. So once we do this, we're going to change the name service, and we're going to change the pointer. So the last 2 lines in this file we're going to be changed to the actual domain name and the server. So ad1 dot and so ad1.class.local, our domain name, and it's a good idea to change. This is just a value. Basically 10 can be 20, it can be 30, it can be anything. So the pointer will have a value. Now we're going to restart the service. So we're going to go system control, restart bind9. Yeah. Once you start that service, we're going to test it and find out the status of that service. Sudo system control status, and then we will double check if there is or there are any errors. In here seems to be active. Everything is running fine, and there's no problem. You can see unreachable resolving, but that's for IPv6, so we're not really touching IPv6 whatsoever. Now, the logs are sent to the syslog file in the var directory, var/log directory. Again, we're not talking much about this one. Obviously, you can configure the resolution to be sent to that and to that file, to syslog file. If you choose to do so, if you're deploying this one in real life environment, then you would like to keep logs for things that happen. So go back to our resolve.conf file. This is the name server, and this will be also used to dictate where to search, i.e. when you ping the domain, like class.local, should be able to give you a response for that ping. So in here, we have the name server, which is our local name server, 10.254.1.21. Once we've done that, we're going to restart the sudo the bind9 service, and we double check what's going on. The status seems to be fine and working. At this stage, we should be able to ping. So now we ping the IP address, verify that this is our IP address basically. We can use the dig -x to the local loopback. Dig -x, basically, this is part of the DNS utility we have installed. We can also double check the common or public domain, ubuntu.com. We checked also google.com. It means everything is functioning in the sense that translation is happening. Now we should be able to ping the domain as is, and we should be able to ping the domain server, which is in this case the ad1 name, ad1.class.local, and that tells you that it has been translated into 10.254.1.21. We can ping class.com. Now ClearPass.class.local, as you can see here, we have not been able to ping it. The reason we have not added a record, so I'm just showing you that ClearPass has an IP address of 10.254.1.23. So now, for that to be pingable, you need to add a record and to point to that ClearPass. So we can, simply speaking, add a record into the database, basically. So we come here, and the last line we can add as many records, obviously, a record. So in here we're going to add ClearPass. So the name is ClearPass, meaning if I connect and if I ping ClearPass or whatever name, then I should be able to ping it with no problem. So in this case, the ClearPass 10.254.1.23 IP address, and the name I would like it to be pingable is ClearPass. Any name, it doesn't have to match a machine name, but obviously best practice to match the proper machine name in this case. So ClearPass. So now if you go back and ping ClearPass, as we have tried to ping it before, you should be able to get a response. It says in here, ClearPass class name or service not known. Let us see what went wrong. We need to just restart the service. We have not restarted yet. So we're going to restart the bind9 service, and now we should be able to ping ClearPass to class.local. Obviously, that applies or applicable to all other services, i.e. hosts that are in your network. With this, we have reached to the end of this video. Thank you very much. See you in future videos. Thank you.